لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم وقل رب زدني علما. قال الإمام النووي رحمه الله تبارك وتعالى ونفعنا بعلومه في الدارين. قال وعن أبي عبد الله عمرو بن العاص رضي الله عنهما قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم جهارا غير سر يقول إن آل بني فلان ليسوا بأوليائي إنما ولي الله وصالح المؤمنين ولكن لهم رحم أبلها ببلالها متفق عليه. So in this chapter, continuing the chapter of kindness to the parents and relatives, this is continuing with the theme that was talked about yesterday. The relationship, regardless of whether they are believers or non-believers, the relationship, the blood relationship, has a sanctity which is to be observed and acknowledged in any case. And as the Quran mentions, even if one has parents who are mushriks and they tell you commit polytheism, so don't obey them in that, but sahibhuma fid dunya ma'rufa, but still you remain in good relationship with them as children or offspring should relate with their parents. So Nabi Sallallahu also observed this, and as we heard in the hadith from yesterday, that when he called all the clansmen of Quraysh, and as we mentioned, there wasn't a single clan in Quraysh that Nabi Sallallahu did not have some sort of relationship with, blood relationship in fact. So here, continuing with that same basic theme, and this is the riwayat of Sayyidina Amr ibn al-As radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who was he's known as Dahiyatun min Duhat al-Arab. He was one of these extremely brilliant and charismatic individuals, and therefore he was used by Quraysh. We might have mentioned this earlier. He was used by the Quraysh as an emissary, as an ambassador, and Nabi Sallallahu also used him in the same capacity, and also became the right-hand man of Sayyidina Muawiyah during his Khilafah. And he has very interesting stories. So he says that I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam jiharan ghayra sir. He wants to emphasize that I definitely heard with my ears him saying this. I heard him saying loudly, not softly, not secretly, openly. That Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam sort of made this announcement that verily inna bani fulan laysu bi awliyai. That the children of so-and-so, in other words, so-and-so tribe, are not my allies. Right? Because who is the ally? إِنَّمَا وَلِيُّكُمُ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. So as the Quran states, and Nabi Sallallahu is following the edict of the Quran, that my wali, my ally is Allah and the pious people of Iman. So this particular tribe has not yet accepted Islam, probably is what he's referring to. So since they have not accepted it, even though they're my relatives, but you haven't accepted Islam, so you cannot be my allies. In fact, my allies are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was salih al-mu'mineen, just as the Quran, you see, states. And of course, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would put that into practice. وَلَكِنْ لَهُمْ رَحِمٌ أَبُلُّهَا بِوَلَادِهَا. Even though he says, I cannot take them as my allies, but still they have relationship, and I will, relate to that relationship and behave accordingly. Right? Abulluha bi balaliha. We mentioned yesterday, I will moisten it with the moistening of good relationship. Beautiful, very beautiful term that he uses. So even, in fact, so he has to, remain allied to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in deen, and he has to disalign, connect with the connected, disconnect with the disconnected, right? But still, there's a connection of relationship, and that he was going to continue to observe that. And that's a very important lesson. On the one hand, we cannot disobey Allah for any creature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't disobey the Creator in obedience to the creation. But, on the other hand, we observe this. And we can also apply this in the concept that when we see people doing sinful things, which is all of us, including me. So if we happen to observe someone committing that sin, oh, look at this guy. Look at him. So we start to hate the person. Well, actually, the human being is لَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a sanctity, as we've probably mentioned several times. A sanctity to all of the children of Adam. Being a human being itself is a sanctified position. Now, the fact that this sanctified creation is doing unsanctified things, we don't like that. So we dislike the action, or we disdain the action, but we don't dislike the human being. We have respect for the human being, but we hate the action. Therefore, loving for Allah and hating for Allah is also a quality of Iman. But what do we hate? We hate wrong behavior. We hate disobedience. Right? Allahu Akbar. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he showed this very prolifically. And he always had the best wishes for even those who attempted to kill him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us